Hi guys, welcome back to Staying in the Garage. This is Gavin here with Eric.
Hello, how's it going?
With your 1992 Honda Civic, right?
Correct, Mundo.
Yeah, before we get into this, how'd you get into the automotive world?
How did I get into the automotive world? Well, let's see, my dad was into cars and stuff, but honestly my brothers, growing up, they always had different cars and a lot of Hondas, but they had all different kinds of stuff. Our family had different Chevys and a lot of Fords, and so I got inspired though, because over the course of me growing up, of course I had lots of Hondas, so that was just what we were into.
Okay, very cool. So, I see there's a lot of this stuff down under the hood here. Why exactly did you pick the car before we go into what's done to it?
This car, so hatchbacks, I've been around a lot of hatchbacks, but I had the CRX a lot, and this specific car, a friend of mine always has different hatchbacks and gets them and sells them. He went and found a bone stock hatch and was driving it, and when he went to sell it, he offered it to me, and I got it for the right price, and it was nice that it was just bone stock.
Yeah, it's very cool.
You know, it had, I don't know how many, it wasn't like any one owner car or anything, but it was just a lot of it was hard to find a lot of the original parts, so.
Okay, very cool. I see that you, this is definitely not the stock engine in here.
No. This is, so the motor is a 2002, it's a Euro R. So it's a 2002 Accord motor, but it's the, European version, which they're the biggest horsepower displacement from the manufacturer.
Okay, very, very nice.
This specific motor just, it has a lot of the dressing on it, call it the sauce. You put the valve cover, you do a little touches, a couple of bolts, you put a nice, that's the 4-into-1 header, it's got the nice little welded pipes there. I'm not quite sure what that's called. There's a certain expression for that, I can't think of it. And then I just put, you put really nice solid motor mounts. The motor was bought, compression tested, and it's guaranteed with 10,000 to 15,000 miles, and
yeah.
Same with the transmission. So
Speaking of transmissions, what type of transmission do you have?
It's a manual cable transmission. It's just a 5-speed transmission, but the gear ratio on the transmission is really good. There's one of 3 transmissions you can use for this specific swap. There's a T2, T4, and then there's a, which is basically, all it's saying is you can get the Accord, the Prelude, and then one of the other ones that are compatible with basically limited slip differential, which is where both the wheels spin. Yeah.
Okay, now when we come around to the side over here, you can tell that it's lowered, obviously. Now, what is it lowered on?
Those are just full coilovers. I think they're just Eibach coilovers. They are just a type of performance Honda coilovers. They're nothing crazy for performance wise, but they just give the car an all-around kind of OEM style look. That's why it doesn't sit super low, although I could go a lot lower. I just have it at basically about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. You know, that's like the tire gap. So
Now, are those factory wheels on it?
those are the wheels from a 2001 99, 2000, 2001 Civic Si. Those are the stock manufacturer wheels from those cars. But yeah, they were produced. They were bought brand new 5 years ago. They were a remanufacture actually.
So what tire size are on the rims?
Yeah, those are 195, 55, R15. So they're
And is that big, small, on the?
so the SI, it's just basically, you know, same with, I guess, with your car, it'd be like how the GT, they have a performance wheel they give with it, so it's a better quality rim and tire, yes.
And so I know it's a CX model Civic, and it's more towards the lower end of the spectrum. Stuff that, did you wish you had a higher model that had some of the power features?
It just depends. Sometimes it's just like anything, depends on the car. For me specifically, for my height actually, I prefer to not have an SI because they usually come with like sunroofs and that lowers the height, even with aftermarket seats, so that's actually pretty funny. But
Yeah.
the reality is, you know, some of the features are nice. They have already some of the disc brakes in the back. They have some of the couple little extra things, you know, and the little badges in some of the seats better. So you can swap some of that stuff, or
Yeah.
but for me personally, I just manual becomes, let's say, less maintenance, and then on top of that, you know, it's lighter then. It doesn't have any of the extra things, extra lines, extra wires. So I mean, overall, you're talking a difference of 400 pounds between the basic model and the higher end one, and then maybe depending on how much higher you go, but within its rank, I'd say, you know, between 400 and 600 pounds. So it's not really that much in the grand scheme of things, but it could be.
So speaking of the weight, how much does the car weigh?
This car was actually weighed at a feed mill, and it weighs actually 1,900 pounds.
Okay, it's pretty light. So what future modifications do you want to do to the car?
On this motor, eventually I'd like to do an aftermarket intake manifold and throttle body. I'd love to get the head port and polished and probably set it up for a turbo, you know, in time. But yeah, and then eventually, once I upgrade all that stuff, then I'll upgrade the axles and some of the performance stuff to handle more power. But for the performance, power wise, it's
put bigger tires on it then when it's making.
Yeah, I'd have to put an actual set of, you know, some stickies on there and make where it would actually hook, because then it already does some pretty good burnouts, but then it would just literally be a burnout machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I'm excited because this motor has potential to just grow into, you know, with the low miles and everything. I can kind of sort of just pick and play with it, whether I'd want to do a turbo or actually, you know, I actually want to do some sort of all motor setup, and then because internally, actually, they have these the VTEC killer cams, and I would love to do those with the port and polished head, the aftermarket intake manifold. I'm not sure which brand I want to use. That's why I haven't said yet, but I definitely want to go with probably a JDM type. I know they have the Euro R's and stuff, but at any rate, if I do the killer cams, the port and polished head, and I already have the car with a Honda tuned ECU, so it's already programmable. It's already got a performance tune on it, or whatever type of tune you want to call that, but you can go in and dial it in again. And yeah, so
It's at the moment, about how much horsepower is it making?
when this motor was dynoed, it put down basically, it said 199.9. It was like 200 horsepower to the wheels, so it was pretty impressive for, you know, basically a full exhaust fuel upgrade, and yeah, that's basically it. Other than
it being tuned.
yeah, it just adds a lot. Just having the motor tuned with this. Like I said, this is the biggest displacement motor for stock setup, and then like the nice part is too, it comes. This car doesn't come with power steering, so it doesn't need a power steering belt. It doesn't need power steering pumps, and it gains the residual force from not having belts and stuff, and then but overall, just the nice header on it, nice tune, and just low miles, and yeah.
So this is an amazing review of Eric's 1992 Honda Hatchback. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If we didn't hit anything on it, like you have a question on it, I read all the comments and I'll respond to it. If you have a car that you'd like me to review and are in the area, we can go ahead and set plans up to make that happen. This is Gavin here with Stankman Garage signing off.